It's Valentine's Day, so it's all about roses. Hi, welcome to another video. Today we're going to go on a little field trip. We're going to go shopping for roses. We're going to go to Costco, Trader Joe's, and Safeway, and we're going to compare the roses we buy. So let's get started. Okay, so we're at Costco, and it's 24 stems of roses for $18.99. That's a pretty good deal. Let's take a look at what they have and what colors. This is really pretty, the pale pink. I'm thinking of pink. Do I do the pale pink or do I do the medium pink? I think I'll do, oh, these are polos, wow. But they don't look great. They look a little bruised. Just go with the red. Now, often there's another second section at Costco that will have roses. I'm gonna go around the back to see if they have a bunch of roses stuck in the back there, just in case there's a color I missed. Ah, I see the secret stash. See, you always have to check to see if there's better roses here, at least a more assortment of colors. I'm thinking of picking up some pink ones instead of the red. There's some hot pinks here. I'm gonna go for the hot pinks. Okay, we're at Trader Joe's. They have mostly garden roses today. They're 8 stems for $9.99, which is quite a steal. I think this bunch of pink ones are perfect. I love these. I'm considering getting the shimmer also. Not sure. I think I'll just get this one to go with the hot pink we bought earlier. Wow, we struck gold. Look at these beautiful roses at Safeway today. They have pink O'Hara roses, which is a hard to get Ecuadorian rose, and it is $14.99 for 12 stems. That's not too bad. I'm definitely going to pick up this pink O'Hara rose. It's one of my favorites, and it's like an English style rose, and it smells wonderful. Okay, and they have the premium Ecuadorians for $21.99 for a dozen, which is not bad. More expensive than wholesale, but not terrible. I'm just going to walk around and see what other roses they have. They have Freedom roses, $21.99. Some nice Mondial roses, white. This is a really reliable white rose called Mondial for $14.99. Pretty good. Wow, what a deal. $5.99. This is 9 roses, mixed colors. If you don't mind the mixed colors, $6 for 9 roses. Very nice. I'll keep that in mind. So we're back from our shopping trip, and I'm going to show you what I got. We're going to evaluate the quality and the pricing for each of the stores we visited today. And then, stay tuned, I'm going to teach you how to process roses for long vase life. The first big bunch here we got from Costco. This is an Ecuadorian rose. Unfortunately, they don't really give you the name of this rose. I know a lot of rose names. I don't know this one particularly. They just have pink rose, product of Ecuador on here. So at Costco, we got 24 roses for $18.99, and that works out to be 79 cents a rose. Pretty inexpensive for Ecuadorian roses, and they seem very fresh and turgid. I showed you on our shopping trip that you always have to check. There's sometimes like another cart of roses, at least at my Costco, that's towards like the back of the store or something like that. And you can go look for that to see if there are colors available. They don't always have all their roses out in the floral display area because there they have the mixed bouquets, you know, other bunches of different flowers. So these I can tell are very fresh. You can tell a rose is very fresh if you pinch it. And it should give a little bit, but still feel like the center is a little bit hard. It's a little bit subjective, you know, and if you've got a lot of experience buying roses, you'll kind of know that, you know, this is a good rose that's going to last really long. Okay? And different varieties last differently also. Now, this is a bunch of garden roses we got from Trader Joe's. This is 8 stems for $9.99, which works out to be $1.25, give or take, per stem. And Trader Joe's also has more regular roses for 12 stems for $9.99, which works out to be 83 cents a rose. I chose to go with the beautiful garden roses. This is not really a garden rose. These are Ecuadorian roses that have like a garden style to them. And it doesn't have a name for the rose. It just says Garden Roses, product of Ecuador. And this is really gorgeous. Once again, this is a pretty nice rose. It's cracked open enough so that we can use it right away, but it still has some turgidity to the bud so that it's not going to fall apart in a day. Okay. And this is a bunch of roses we got from Safeway. Safeway was $14.99 for 12 stems, which works out to be $1.25 per stem. Now, we got lucky. We got these really fantastic sort of novelty rose called Pink O'Hara. It doesn't say it's Pink O'Hara. Once again, it just says rose, pink, 12 stems on here, but I know this is a Pink O'Hara rose. If you've been watching my videos, I love the O'Hara roses. We have Pink O'Hara and White O'Hara. They open up fully like an English rose, and they're one of the few roses grown commercially that's still heavily scented. All right. And so this is pretty good. They are a little more open than the other two bunches, but that's sort of the nature of this type of rose. And I think it will last pretty well. There's not a lot of browning of the petals, and the rose, it's definitely softer than the other two, but it's also the variety of rose. Now at Safeway, there's different grades of roses, and it's unusual to find a garden rose like Pink O'Hara priced this low. We kind of got lucky, but still, all these roses are priced really well, and the quality is quite good. And I'm really, really surprised and happy that we can get such an incredible selection just at grocery stores and Costco. For comparison, none of these roses really cost a lot more than what we pay wholesale. So the wholesale pricing at the flower market is very similar, if not more, than the roses we're paying for at the grocery store and Costco. Costco definitely comes in the least expensive. Now, when I go to the San Francisco flower market and buy wholesale roses, they are 25 stems in a carton. They come, in a bunch, but they are packaged with a cardboard sleeve, the nice imports from Colombia and from Ecuador. I buy a lot of Ecuadorian roses because the heads are huge. And all three of these roses are from Ecuador. And at the San Francisco flower market, I would think regular roses like this ranged about $22 to $35 for 25 stems, depending on the variety. And then for garden style roses, they will range $28 to $45 plus for 25 stems. So these roses are comparable, if not less, than wholesale prices. So once again, the Safeway roses were $1.25 a stem. Trader Joe roses, the garden style, are $1.25 per stem, and the regular roses will come in at 83 cents a stem. And then the Costco roses are the least expensive at 79 cents a stem. So that's my breakdown of roses for Valentine's Day. Now, you can definitely go to a florist and have roses arranged in a vase, but you're going to pay a lot more because Valentine's Day, one of the biggest days of the year, only second to Mother's Day for sales of roses and flower arrangements in general. And now I am filming this video a few weeks before Valentine's Day, so there might be a little bit higher pricing around Valentine's Day, but I wanted to show you what you can get at your grocery store. And then the second part of the video, I'm going to show you how we process roses for long vase life. So what I have here are two florist buckets. And you could do any bucket or a vase. It doesn't really matter. Florist buckets are nice because they're a little bit tapered so that, the stems are kind of grouped together and there's room for the blossoms to develop. And what I have in here is lukewarm water, a little bit warmer than lukewarm. Let me just say not quite hot, but hotter than lukewarm water in here. And all of these roses came with a pack of floral preservative that I have put in the buckets, okay? So floral preservative is really key to flowers lasting well. I did an experiment once where we used floral preservative, regular water, bleach, and alum, and we had the same flowers a week, and the one with the floral preservative lasted longest. So definitely, you know, most of these, all these came with the little packets. And if you don't have these little packets, you can always buy a little tub of Floral Life preservative from Amazon. And I'll link that in the description below because that's what we use. But I buy it like the giant bucket size. Okay. We're just going to go ahead and unpackage the roses. And let's start with the Costco roses. So I put gloves on when I clean roses because, you know, there's probably residue of pesticides and whatever else is on there, and it just protects your hands. And an indispensable thing for cleaning roses are rose strippers. Now, these are really wonderful because it encases the rose in here so that if there's thorns, your hand is protected. Now, these have a little bit of thorns on the bottom, so you want to strip it like this. You can leave, you know, one set of leaves on top if you want, or leave no leaves on at all. But basically anything under the water line, so it depends on how high the water is, you don't want any leaves in there because leaves in the water means rot. So definitely strip your roses. And often those rose leaves don't look great even though the roses are pretty fresh. So you just do that. Kind of grip it from where you want to start stripping. And then you strip it. And then different variety of roses have different amount of thorns. Some have big, scary thorns. Some are practically thornless. And these, you know, they have kind of standard thorns, just a few here and there, not anything too crazy. Now, in my business, I have a rose stripping machine, if you believe it. It's pretty interesting. It's a bunch of rubber fingers, and it's powered by a motor, and then you just run the whole bunch of roses through the fingers, and it knocks all the thorns and leaves off. But it makes a huge mess. You have to wear safety glasses, and then the leaves and thorns fly all over the place. But if you're processing, you know, 600-700 stems of roses, you don't really want to be doing this all day. So we stripped all the leaves off our roses, and what we're going to do is put them together and cut the stems at an angle. And you want to cut at least 1 inch off of the stems, okay? And depending on how you're going to use your roses, you don't need to leave the stem super long if you're just making centerpieces or something like that. So just cut the stems. I group them together like this, and it's best to cut them at an angle or use a knife. Now, professional florists were supposed to use a floral knife. I think I've told you many times I never got the hang of using a knife, so I use clippers. Now, these roses have been at Costco probably for a couple of days at least, and so they probably cut the stems already at Costco and put them in buckets of water, so they've been hydrated. Often when I buy roses from the flower market, they just came in and they're dry shipped, and what we need to do is really hydrate the roses. So they won't look as nice from in the beginning, not because they're not fresh, but they've been flown from Ecuador in a long cardboard box, you know, without any water, so they need to be rehydrated. I can tell these have been hydrated because the leaves look really turgid, whereas sometimes when I buy flowers from the flower market, they're not fresh, but the leaves look a little dehydrated, and you have to really hydrate the flowers before you can use it. So these probably have been hydrated, but still, I would let this sit at least half a day before I start designing with it, and just let it fully hydrate. And often when we buy flowers for events, they're not open enough, so then we wait a couple of days before we design so the roses have a chance to open. Okay, we're going to go ahead and process the other 2 bunches of roses. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this stuff. Now, processing flowers is always the messiest part of flower design, so make sure you prep your surfaces. Okay, this is the bunch of roses from Trader Joe's, and this also looks like it's been hydrated. It doesn't have any thorns, so I don't even need to use a rose stripper. I'm just going to pull the leaves off, since the leaves seem to grow sort of lower on this rose. And generally, we don't use the rose leaves in the design, so you know, you could just pull all the leaves off, because whatever greenery we use in our designs, we usually use a separate type of greenery that lasts longer. than rose leaves. Okay, these are really beautiful roses. I love how they have a darker edge and a lighter center and such a beautiful color. I'm very excited to see how they open up. So this was like an almost thornless rose. I'm gonna go ahead and put the garden roses in this bucket here. And if you're gonna work a lot with flowers, definitely buy these surgical gloves. I use them all the time in design. When I am making flowers for a wedding or just generally in floral design, I wear gloves pretty much the whole time, from processing to designing. You'll get used to wearing gloves and it really protects your hands. This is a bunch of pink oharas from Safeway. This one has thorns on it still. So a lot of the savings you get from buying flowers from the grocery store or Costco or Trader Joe's is you have to process it yourself. If you're buying, roses from a florist, they would have already stripped it and hydrated it for you and arranged it for you in a vase or a hand-tied bouquet or something like that. So around Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, the wholesale prices for roses goes up by 30, 40, sometimes even 50%. So your florist is charging you a lot because they're being charged a lot. I think it's a tough business doing retail flowers because I just told you how much, these roses are at grocery stores, and they're very nice quality roses and even very unusual, novel varieties like these beautiful pink oharas. And it's really hard for your florist to make a good margin on the roses since the wholesale prices actually go up for us during Valentine's Day. And I do know that at Costco and Trader Joe's, they don't really up the price of their roses at Valentine's Day. Maybe a little bit, but not that much. And I think Safeway, because they have a full service florist there, might have, arranged bouquets and things like that during Valentine's Day that they can sell already made, and maybe they price it a little higher. But overall, I think grocery stores, Costco, they don't charge a whole ton more for Valentine's Day. So I have all my garden roses in this bucket and my regular kind of Ecuadorian roses in this bucket. I'm going to go ahead and let them hydrate before I design with them. Okay, so we're all done. Our roses are happily hydrating in the buckets. And I don't think there's a clear winner. I think all three roses are really beautiful and they're priced really well. Just to review, our Costco roses were the least expensive at 79 cents per stem. The Safeway roses were $1.25 a stem, and the Trader Joe roses were also $1.25 a stem. And these are both garden style roses, which is very inexpensive at that price. And Trader Joe does have more regular roses for 83 cents a stem. Okay, so this was $18.99 for 24 stems, $14.99 for 12 stems at Safeway, and $9.99 for 8 stems at Trader Joe's. So you have a lot of great resources just in your local supermarket and Costco without having to go to a wholesale flower market. Now, indispensable things for processing flowers would be disposable gloves, bucket, vessel of some sort, floral preservative, a rose stripper, and good sharp clippers. I hope this helped you and answer some questions on how to process roses for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Stay tuned. We have a bonus episode this week where I'm going to make 2 cute designs for Valentine's Day using the roses we just purchased. Happy Valentine's Day to you and your sweetheart. As always, please like and subscribe. Click the little bell to be notified when I put out a new video, and I will see you in my next video.